do not ask for your poor or your hungry. We do not want your tired and sick. It is your corrupt we claim. It is your evil that will be sought by us.
I was mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Welcome to the Edge of the Falls. You people have been chosen to reveal our existence to the world. I'm the madman. Oops, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We're two guys who care about Niagara Falls, one who doesn't give a fuck and one who does. I'm the madman, a.k.a. Brett Byro, and guess what? I don't give a fuck.
Hi, I'm Noelle, the intern, and I don't give a fuck either.
Aw, well, that's pretty terrible. I'm the Mystic, a.k.a. Peter Green, and I don't swear, but together we are
the Edge of the Falls.
So, broadcasting from a rundown high school where a psychic medium told us there were evil spirits here, but they left because it was too fucking hot.
Yeah, hot as balls.
Are we tired of the heat?
Oh my gosh, it's so terrible in here, guys. That you can't keep any. The only thing that don't die is cockroaches and mice.
And Keith Richard, don't forget that.
Yeah. What's new? How's everybody? You guys miss us?
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend?
Us. Notice I said us because there's multiple people in Brett Byro that you guys just haven't met yet.
I think they should meet your new T-shirt first, buddy.
Yeah. Here,
take off that neck brace or move it. Yeah, this is a cool shirt. He gets cool shirts. It's a horrible idea. What time?
Oh my God, I love it.
Like any of you that don't know me, that's really not me.
I want all the T-shirts. I love them.
I'm really a really nice guy. Just don't be a dick.
That's behind you.
I had to explain it to how many people this week.
So who's here? Salutations, Tony Pasquale in Arizona. Good to see you, buddy. Good to have you back on.
A regular with us. I'm going. You talk for a couple minutes. You and
me and Noelle. Noelle and I. Yes. So Noelle, how was your day?
It was fun. It was interesting. I started growing little plants because I heard that it was very good.
Because it was 420, right?
Yes, that kind of plant. And it's actually really fun. They say it's good for your mental health, so I started growing like a ton of them.
Nice.
And then I knocked one of them over.
Plants?
So I was thinking about starting my own one of those. Yeah, why not? It's legal now, right?
So now you had a really great picture of your kids yesterday. They were out on your front porch, I think it was, painting the sides of the garden yellow.
Yes. They were going to make a little one for outside, yeah.
You know what? You got the best guy in the world. I mean, he's good with the kids. He keeps them busy, and he allows you to come down and hang out with thugs like us, or thugs like him.
I got lucky with him. I did.
I know. He's a good guy, though, and looking forward to meeting him sometime.
You know what? I haven't said it in a while, but you know why we have Noelle on the show? Because we have a good-looking intern, and you don't, and, ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it. And you know what? I'm kind of... my arm is longer than yours, and you can reach nobody. Guess what? I fucking reached a couple people. I reached a couple people.
That's a cryptic message, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, while you're adding people, what do you say we start off tonight with the word of the day?
Sure, let's start with the word of the day.
Yeah, you like that, Noelle?
This is everybody's favorite.
This is everyone's favorite part.
I'm learning. I'm trying to be, more, literate myself.
You're doing great.
Right, and you're doing wonderfully.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just take a moment here and allow word of the day. Welcome to an Edge of the Falls literacy moment. This is our word of the day. The Edge of the Falls word of the day is aware. Aware. Now the madman will use it in a sentence.
Aware. Be aware of sexual fucking predators. Aware.
That was the madman using aware in a sentence. Join us again tomorrow for another Edge of the Falls literary moment. And be aware. So there we are.
That's a new word for you guys. Pay attention. There'll be lots more of those words coming up.
We are committed to the literacy of our community.
Yep, that's for damn sure. You know what? Why? Because I care.
Absolutely. But you don't give a,
No, you're right. I don't give a fuck about, I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about, listen, I ain't in this to be Brett Byro, Mr. Popular. Oh, look at me. You guys already know that. Contrary to popular belief, I kind of care. I kind of care, but I'll never admit that in public. And I will smack a bitch, so get it straight.
You will.
Yeah, even in a tie.
And I'll be right there behind with support.
Need an
You
expert
already
hand?
know, Rick. Rick, you swear just as much as I do. You got a clicker?
Oh, Tessa, you're right. Very good use of the word. You're right.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It is the best.
You know what? What are we going to talk about? Where should
Well, we
go?
got a bunch of stuff that we were talking about earlier today. First of all, like I say, it's great to have Noelle with us. So, Noelle, you weren't part of the earlier discussion we had about how many headlines we're seeing on people's on their Facebook pages that they're trumpeting something that when we went, remember that we went looking for it, and someone said there were 2,800 inmates with the coronavirus.
Peter, we both talked about fake news. Fake news is everywhere. It's not just a Donald Trump thing. It's not the CNN thing. It's not everybody on politics talk about fake news. People believe what you say when you say it. It's just a fact of life.
Got a coyote in your car?
Yes, come on, but you see it again.
I laughed when I saw it.
Look, you know as well as I do that if there was a chance that I could catch a coyote rather than kill it, what am I going to do? I'm going to catch that motherfucking coyote, right? Really, I'm not going to go out. Some people said shoot it. Come on, how cool is it?
Let me tell a story about you.
All right, go ahead.
We're on our way to see our good friend Jen LaFave, the world's greatest tea maker, I would call it. And Jen LaFave, we were on our way on I guess it was Lake Road or something. And all right, we'll turn that off. Jen has just hung up on us, I'm sure. But what happened was a fawn ran out in the middle of the road, and you were driving, and it was right after your last neck surgery. It was when you were first cleared to drive. And you successfully avoided it, the truck ahead of us, the farm next to us, everything else. But I've seen you do that several times, and you have a deep respect for animals,
It's not even about that. I mean, come on. Some people, you have to admit this, no matter how messed up you are, would be easier to take a human life than it would be to take a dog's life. We talked about if times got really bad, could you eat your dog? Could you? I couldn't eat my dog. I couldn't do it.
But you've been to the Philippines.
Yes, but still, it's different if it's monkey meat or you don't know what mystery meat. I guess that's the best way to put it, right? Trista, how the hell are you? Tony D, I want to get you on a couple of phone calls here. Sometime. I like the way you think. Anyways, back to So the first thing we did was we started prepping, because we haven't been on in a couple of days. And speaking of that, have you guys missed us? Are we doing, what we can, to try and keep everybody up to date, what's going on, interesting, giving you some information. And it's not that I'm trying to impose my will on everybody. That's not what it is. I've never changed. I've never wavered. I've always been this way. Anybody that knows me knows that. Ladine Masters, I see you, on there. I was trying to get you to call in about your, while you're here, about your garage getting broken into. Remember, Peter?
Yeah. And she's saying that her dog weighs 3 pounds. Is she offering it to us?
You try to tell us to eat your dog? Come on.
Yeah, well, 3 pounds, that gets Noelle about a half pound.
Listen, Trista, you know that the size of coyotes at Belden Center, they would steal our kids and pull them away. How funny. What else? All right, so where we were going with that when I was talking about the fake news.
Did they miss us? And I guess one of the most important things to remember is that when this virus hit, we were still quite happy going on Monday nights at 8, as we were doing with our audio podcast. And we started up with this all hit at once. The coronavirus thing, as we put in new software, we started going live. We're live now on YouTube as well. And when all of this happened, we decided, look, our community is fragmented. We're stuck in our homes. We're isolated. So if we stay on the air, we give everyone a chance to talk and other people to hear them. And I think one of the things that upset us, pardon me, but not upset us, but was feeling frustrating was we weren't getting that much feedback from you, from the audience. And we've been trying to get you more involved. You might think, I've got nothing really important to say. You know what? Anything you say has value. And any take you've got on our community, making it better, getting us ready for the opening of the nation again, we welcome that. So we want more interaction from you.
Your turn.
Well, Noelle knows what it was like.
Yeah.
We try to put together a show. We try and change up the openings and the middles and the endings and do skits. And I mean, you're playing hurt, brother. I mean, you've definitely got, your neck surgery is still recovering. This isn't like a job for you. You do this as your commitment to the community.
Listen, it's fun. Not only that,
fun,
I mean, it's
yeah.
fun, and it's not like we're making any money. We're not making any money in this. I'm not out this, to be a politician or to. Well, maybe a little bit to piss people off of.
Brett, X-Day on the not making money, okay? I invited my dad to watch this episode. I want him to think I'm gainfully employed.
Yeah.
And Noelle knows. She comes out with us quite frequently and knows how much we put into the shows.
I do.
And it matters to us. And we
I
have
love
a lot
it
of fun.
because it's so cool because there's two sides. Like, there's Brett, you, and it just both of you guys together. It's fun. Like, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable, like, to call it all. Unless,
Right,
you're scared of Brett.
Unless they don't like, unless they just don't like what I'm saying. I mean, everybody that knows me, number one, I'm fucking 50. I ain't fucking the same.
That's old.
Yeah, I ain't that, and I'm hurt. Now's the time. All right, what else, Peter?
So, well, that was it. We see a lot of fake news on the internet and a lot of things. Today we were reviewing a Niagara County Sheriff's report. And it was just this list all through Niagara County of these, businesses are being reported by snitches again, like people who got nothing better to do. And they call up and say, some guy's trying to sell farm equipment on the internet. What?
Yeah, that's annoying.
Oh,
That's
man.
annoying.
So, when you had your kids out in the porch, Noelle, then someone could have called and said they were working together and not social distancing.
I would have beat somebody's ass, honestly. Like, if you're going to call, you better stay anonymous because that's just stupid. But why is it bothering you? If you're not near them and you're away from them, you're social distancing, why are you worried about what other people are doing in a different area?
You know why? On the other end of the spectrum, it's easier to call and complain about everybody else than mind your own fucking business.
Right.
You know what? If I want to go out, and again, here I'm gonna piss off everybody. If I want to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. But you know what? I'm smart enough to know if I'm sick, I'm not going to go out. I'm just not going to go out. I'm not going to go around people. I haven't seen my father. I haven't gone over to see my father or anything. You know why? Not because they tell us not to, because I'm smart enough to know that he's vulnerable.
Right.
Right? Yeah. And everybody's saying, oh, well, what side of the fence are you on? I'm not on any side of the fence. I just know that, why put somebody in jeopardy? Right. No matter how I feel about this, whether it's a really bad, virus, obviously something is going around. Do I think that, me, and my family had it already? I do. I think that we survived it. I think that Todd, and his, Marie and my father had it, and they were deathly ill. Yeah. And he survived it. We weren't on ventilators. We weren't, I think I was telling you, Peter, the day after, when, I had 104-degree temperature and I was hallucinating and stuff like that. I really was,
Yeah, you accused me of swearing.
But, again, we got over it. I know Michelle Borum, I see her on here. I don't know if she's listening or not, but her family's going through it right now. They're sick. She's worried about her mother. She's worried about... she's worried about her grandmother. They're all in the same family, of course. And you have a right to be scared. But you know what? Don't tell us all that we have to do what they want because it's going through you. Bill Kennedy, what's up? Destiny, I'm going to call you in a little bit. Destiny right now was just doing a live Facebook also, a friend of mine. And guess what? She was just diagnosed with the COVID virus. So we're going to talk to somebody.
She just went through quite an ordeal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to her, in a few minutes and let everybody hear, what it's like to go through it. Not because I don't believe it. Obviously, there's something going around.
There is.
I just think there's more to the story, guys. You have to believe that. Those of you that don't believe that there's not more to this story, something's wrong. That's all I'm asking you for. Again, I'm not trying to impose my will on everybody. There's more to it.
Right. There's definitely more to it. Just like I said, my name.
Why are they getting excess money for using a ventilator? Why are they getting more money for being diagnosed with COVID? It just suits that way. Why is Governor Cuomo, looking at this as the savior for New York State to be the big bailout? Come on, guys. This is what's going on.
They're diagnosing people too that don't even have it, or if you're dead, you don't die from it, they can put that down.
Have you noticed, you guys, that maybe and again, I didn't want to turn this into let's talk about my beliefs or your beliefs. there's there's just more to it, guys. This isn't something. They think we're fifth grade stupid fucking people, and that's what it boils down to, you guys. You're all believing everything that's going on. Why are you believing this? Why are you believing this? And why are you putting down your neighbor, or me, as a matter of fact, because I'm trying to speak a little bit of the truth. I'm allowed my opinion, whether it's right or wrong, or if you don't agree with it, just tell me, hey, I don't agree with it. But you don't have to say I want to fight or, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're exactly right, Peter. I use sheep a lot. And not for the coronavirus reason. You already know that. I believe there's a lot of people out there that are full of shit and believe whatever. A perfect example, Peter, is the coyote post.
Yeah, really. I couldn't believe the number of people who bought into that.
Bobby Kenner Connect, how the hell are you, brother?
Hey, and he says because Cuomo is going to run for president, needs this in his portfolio.
Exactly. Come on, guys. You know that already. Are we they think we are kindergartners that are uneducated. I'm sorry. I may not be the smartest tool in the shed or the sharpest, but I'm definitely not dull.
Well, no. No, you're not at all. And today I put up something on the on my Facebook about the fact that I'm just sick of the news conferences. I know that we were thinking of doing a skit on that this week, and
we're going to do a skit. I mean, that's one thing that we're known for. You know that. We are definitely going to make fun of him talking to us like we're fifth graders.
I love fifth grade. Best 3 years of my life. Where were you in fifth grade, Noelle? What school did you go to?
What was that, like?
I went to Calfest.
Was that like 7 years ago?
No, 3. I went to Calfest Magnet School.
Yeah. Isn't that right across the street from some Jehovah's Witness place?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's
we'll
a
leave
long
that.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shut the fuck up. Ryan, too. What's up, brother?
Hey, Ryan, and sent Breck a pic of a T-shirt you need to make. He wants a few of them, so that'll be our good friend Jim.
Yeah, send me another one. Jim just joined, so he's on here too. What's up, Jim Costanzo, JCTs? Ryan, I will be coming to see you tomorrow. Ryan is the tire king, guys. I need some tires. Not because he's my friend, but guess what? Even before we became friends, his family was always good to us. They supported us when we had a business, and so why not do the same thing for him? Chris, what's up, Stens? How the hell are you? We were just talking very highly of you. Don't let it go to your head.
Nice stuff, Chris.
Yeah.
He's been doing some great video stuff. In fact, when I get back to you tonight, Chris, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about showing some of your videos as part of the show, making sure you get ample credit and that we steal any money. So there you go.
Jim, I want a few of those T-shirts. I want one like Brett. Don't be a dick.
And don't you want a hoodie?
Yeah,
I do. I want a hoodie and I want a T-shirt.
Ladine, you were saying something about that was the same day that we were doing the hot dog giveaway, but they didn't respond to your garage call. But guess what? They certainly came to shut us down from giving free food out. Free food, free food was an essential call, but a garage break-in where there maybe could have been a criminal in your damn garage waiting to hurt you wasn't essential.
Who the fuck calls on somebody about that? Oh, like free food. Like who calls on any other day?
You know, fucking everybody hates me. You know
that's
that.
True. It's probably just because you were.
You know what? That's true though. But don't you got to be aware that there are people who just don't like watching someone else have fun.
Right.
Yeah. You know what or do something good.
You know what it is? Misery loves company. We've talked about this many times, Mystic. That if people see. No matter who it is, Christians, or
Druids,
or bad boys, or whoever it is, what are they doing, and how can I get a piece of that, or let me squash it?
Oh yeah, it wasn't my idea. People aren't looking at me because it's all about me. You must look at me instead of others. I don't know. I want to do a skit on that. I think we did one already, but we got to do more.
I'm sure that if people are watching this whole video, if you guys are not seeing where I'm going with this, and I'm getting a little bit frustrated, but
understood.
If there is someone out there in our community that is taking advantage of women over and over and over again, multiple women, and getting away with it and using a position of power, and then reaching out to other people and saying what do I got to do, how much will it take, can you squash this, or calling family members or doing anything else to get out of it, obviously that guy is doing something. If you're condoning it and not doing anything about it, you're just just
part
as
of
bad.
it.
Listen, if you guys know Noelle and you know anything that is going on or what I'm going without coming out because we can't yet, but we're going to. But read between the lines. I have nothing to hide. You see the post that I post on here.
Watch anything that's in our videos.
The best thing is too is we have enough. There's enough evidence too. There's no doubt that it's.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it sucks that coronavirus.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
So anyways, I kind of got off on a little tyrant there.
Do you want to give Destiny a call?
Yeah, sure. What time?
Yeah, no one else seems to want to call in. They're afraid of us.
Yeah, let's
That's
give,
what it's Jim
let's
Costanzo.
give Destiny a call. You guys, I'm going to call Destiny. She is going through the coronavirus right now, just to give you a little heads up. So if you have any people that want to talk or ask questions of someone who has the coronavirus right now, now's the time. Add your friends. Share this video. I'm calling her right now.
And I'm going to bring the camera over here and let you know that one of the things that our intern has not had a chance to do
Lexi
yet.
sent me a message just now. I got to just chime in. I'm sorry, Peter, to cut you off. Where are you? I got you ice cream. Oh, I love my daughter.
Oh, she'll eat it.
Just give them DDs.
Yeah. Anyway, so where was I going with this?
I'm sorry, bro.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That was a lovely
All right,
message.
I'm not that sorry.
I was just about to say you were going to say
Yeah,
that.
screw you.
That was too nice.
Oh, yes. Our beloved intern has not really had time to go through her job description yet, but eventually we'll have her set up so that she can monitor the comments that every once in a while Brett and I are looking to see if we can repeat something or get someone to say something or whatever. So I know that for Noelle, she's going to enjoy the opportunity to sort of be the speaking voice on behalf of you. And she's about the only one who can talk between us. And she will be wearing a referee shirt.
Yeah, when's that coming in? That's
Soon,
exciting.
I think.
Awesome.
Yeah. You
Perfect.
want a shirt like Brett's now, though, don't you?
I do.
That's really him. And then I'm watching on the camera here, and if you look right between the two of you, the shirt says, "Don't be a dick."
I could get the referee shirt and then put on the back, "Don't be a dick."
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
All right, let's call Destiny. You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready, Noelle?
Hang on.
I'm ready.
I put it on
All right.
speakerphone. Let's see if it'll still connect. Hello, Destiny. Are you there? Hang on. I kind of messed up our Bluetooth a little bit, and then I clicked off. I'm going to call you right back, okay? Whoops. I got this shit, Sal.
Oh, hi, Robbie.
Yeah, see all these great people.
There
out
we go.
You got
Jerry.
There we go.
You got Robbie's song, right?
Hi. I got it right this time. How are you?
Hello.
How are you? How are you feeling? How's everything? I need you to tell your whole story again one other time. So you're on the edge of the falls with our people. We got a bunch of people listening. And you guys, this is my friend Destiny. And she was feeling, I'm going to let you tell your story, Destiny. And then you know the way I am already. I'm loud, obnoxious, and I'm a little bit cocky. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions when you're done, okay?
Okay. All right, no problem.
Yep, start just like you did before, and how you got diagnosed, what the testing they did, Destiny, everything for the people that are listening. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Hon.
All right. Yeah. So I just actually did a live video myself, just because people didn't really know. Like I explained in that video that I was trying to just keep quiet about it at first to get through it until I'm at the healing side of it now. I was having my asthmatic symptoms at first, and I was being treated for asthma with steroids and such. And I believe that while I was in that condition I have no idea where I contracted it, other than I do work in the 14221 zip code area in Williamsville, that I don't know if I got it there or not, but they're considering that a hot spot, so I'm not sure. But I woke up the one night and my head was on fire, and I just was like burning up, and I knew something was not right, on top of having the breathing issues I was already experiencing. And then I had been in constant communication with my doctor. My doctor finally sent me right to get a test, although I had been told that they were not testing anybody but first responders and certain healthcare workers. So I was like, okay, like I didn't realize that they could then send me for the test. It was a drive-up test, drove up, to the location, stayed in my car. They came out in their outfits and did the long stick thing. And
how was it, Dusty? How was that?
Well, I was a big wimp.
Right.
Like, I'm not really a wimpy person, but I saw the video on how they do it, and I was like, oh. So I finally had to sit in my hands and just be like, okay.
So it is true that they stick the 6-inch swab in your nose to touch your brain and try to
Yeah, they absolutely do. But it honestly wasn't. I was like, I'm chicken with that type of stuff, but it wasn't as bad as what it looks like. And the thing is like flex plastic type of a thing with a swab at the end. And then I found out a couple days later, the health department called me and told me that it was positive. And my reaction was just like, are you serious? And then I was like, well, no, not that I think you're like joking or trying to tease me, but I'm like, I couldn't like fathom that I actually had it. Because I don't know if I mentioned to you already or not, but I said, as soon as I found out this stuff was around, I started doing high doses just because of like having some, health issues, high doses of vitamin C, and was wearing my mask and, still wound up with it. So, then the experience after that was going downhill. They came on pretty sudden where I just felt like I was exhausted, like nonstop. And I was like trying to keep my head. I just kept saying over and I just need to go to sleep. I just need to take a nap, and kept going in and out of like sleep with that. And my fever was going. And then I was having the cough really bad. My body felt like I had the living crap beat out of me.
Dusty, how long? How long has this been going on?
I'm at like the 2-week mark now.
Okay. All right. Just, I want to try and get a timeline.
Started a little bit before that.
Well, when was the worst? Are you, you said, I watched your live video, that you're getting off it now. When was it the worst for you?
The worst was, well, initially when it came on, which was, I forget my days now, but it was like the, just before, because I was tested on Good Friday. And it was a couple days before that I had the experience of waking up with my head on fire. And
were you hallucinating?
I don't know that I saw actual things, but my brain, it felt like that real whooshy, foggy feeling, like I could not get my thoughts to get, like I could speak without thinking. But if I had to think of anything, I was like doing like crazy things. Like I was scrolling through Facebook the one day and I saw like, because then after I thought back on it, I was like, oh my, what was wrong with me? I saw like a picture of the marshmallow peeps, right. And it went through my head. Oh, they have those at this time of the year too? Like not putting 2 and 2 together that they belong with Easter, or, pouring a cup of coffee and just putting the pot in the middle of the counter or the table and walking away, not putting it back on the coffee maker. Like very.
You think this was from fever? Where did they take your test? They give you a test. You'll see what your fever was running.
It's my fever has been I've been maintaining it in the high, and I said in my video, high 90s. It was like high 99s with Tylenol. Without the Tylenol, it's going up to like 100.6. 100.
Jesus Christ! Okay, so 106 is bad. I thought I was
not 100.
No, 100.6.
Oh, 100.6.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was just saying. Well, look, I know you're my friend, and people will probably say, "Oh, this is Brett's friend," so he's going to take it easy on you. You know that. With how your cough, your chest hurts, your throat hurts. Give us the symptoms. What made you decide? Okay, I've had enough, and was it the fever?
It was, well, yeah, and I had been in contact with my doctor because of my the asthma right along, but it was when that fever hit, that's where certain, like I knew without a doubt that something wasn't right, and then feeling like I was completely beat up. But I still didn't actually think that I had it.
Right.
But yeah, I knew something just wasn't right with it. And I had the coughing attacks which then is what they're kind of concerned, but, so then my brain's going to picturing when I'm having these coughing attacks and like not being able to breathe and gagging and all that, like to what they're describing with the mucus closing up, like your bronchial tubes and your lungs and everything. So that was where I was saying I just had to keep fear at bay instead of everything that you're hearing, just kind of keep grounded with, okay, I'm experiencing this stuff, but I'm not going there with fear, because I truly believe that fear is such a powerhouse to give to this situation. Like you buy into that fear, it's given this sickness the right to hang on to your body. And I'm not going down that path. I was like, no, God, it's me and you. That's why I said I was being quiet. I had to dig down deep to that place of just getting to a place where it was only me and him, and I could hear from him and be like, I'm getting through this. And that was it. And like I said, I told my doctor, like, I'm not, because my oxygen levels were going down some too and hanging around like 92, 93. And I was like, unless I'm knocking on death's door, I am not going to the hospital. They're not getting me on one of those ventilators and, getting any kind of money for me. Right. So right. I don't know what's going on behind the scene. I think things are happening and people are sick and everything, but I'm not going to be, I had no idea. I trust my life in God's hands far more than I love and appreciate all the healthcare workers, but I am like, no, I'm not going there to die alone in a cold hospital room. Sorry. I'll be here, and sorry if my family has to find me. So, and I know that sounds horrible.
No, but it's not horrible. That's, and that's the logic of a lot of us. You know that. You know the way. You know the way I am. You know the way. I think. I'm sure. People flip for you. That was a little joke.
Yeah.
Hey, Destiny, it's the Mystic here, Brett's partner with, along with Noel, the intern. Question for you. You said that most of the time you've been at home, right?
Yeah.
Right. What has been the reaction of the different medical professionals who've interacted with you? What's it been like? Are people coming to your place to help you, and are you getting the assistance you need? Is it tough? Like, what's it like for you?
No, nobody comes here. My doctor's office calls me every day to check in, or I communicate through the patient portal.
Right. That's good.
I have the temporal thermometer, and I have the whatever it's called, the oxygen thing for my finger that my sister ordered me,
right.
So I can keep tracks of that. And then I just tell them what my list of how I'm feeling and everything is going. And then they go day by day. So and say, okay, take their notes. If my oxygen gets really low, like it had been a couple times, they're like, you go into the emergency room, which, I haven't listened, but, yeah.
Well, so really what you could say is you got coronavirus the home game.
Yeah, listen, Destiny, why didn't they put you in the hospital? Was that a thought? Did they say you need to go to the hospital? I thought they were admitting everybody.
So, yeah, no, they didn't tell me to go to the hospital, except for when my oxygen levels had dropped. I had a couple experiences where, like, it felt like I was punched in the stomach and I thought I was going to pass out and, needed my rescue inhaler, and monitored my oxygen. But I didn't go in and I didn't call the doctor because, like I had said in my video, I've been an athlete my whole life, and having dealt with severe asthma, like I was focusing on keeping, the gas exchange controlled, like exhaling deep, getting your carbon dioxide right, doing all that stuff, and just focusing on the breathing, because that really is one of their biggest things is the breathing. And I know that. So, and your ability to breathe. But it was when I reported in to the doctors, they told me, yeah, you need to go in if that's the case and your oxygen is hanging out that low. And I was like, okay, thanks. Maybe I'll stop taking it. No.
Did they give you any, prescribe you anything, prescriptions, anything, are you taking a Z-Pack, or what's going on?
No. So the only prescriptions I'm on is my albuterol, the rescue inhaler, Brio, which is a daily, asthma inhaler, the, Claritin, and they prescribed me the Teflon Pearl cough pills which are my dad who had mesothelioma. They prescribed them for him. So, but they seem to be helping me. And then the Tylenol, I'm taking like 1,350 milligrams of Tylenol to keep my fever at least below 100.
All right, I got to air it out just a little bit. So, anybody that, not that I want you to have stalkers or anything, but Destiny works for H&R Block. She, so she's in contact with, the outsiders a lot, if that happened there or whatever. So I guess I'm seeing, why you said you don't know where you got it. Who knows who you came in contact with or, I think that may have added to it, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure because as soon as I started getting the cough, the asthma cough, I chose with my boss to come out of the office because I have some higher risk people who work for me. So, but it's like
can I make a point out of that, Destiny? Because we were talking about this earlier, how you just said, you summed up exactly how I feel about this. You chose to move out of your office because you had elderly workers there that were at high risk, and I use that a lot, and I tell everybody that we're smart enough to know if you're sick to stay home. If if you are not sick, stay away from people that you deem are sick. You see where I'm going with this? And I know you probably think the same way. Your religion is strong. I know that. So.
Yeah, well, I actually was getting reamed a little bit on the Erie County Blotter site, I think it was, and they were saying, stay away from the downtown thing because it's getting backed up, and people were saying horrible things about the protesters down there, and like, oh, they're going to watch in 2 weeks, they're going to be all sick and in the hospital, there's going to be a spike and all that. And I made a comment that, well, actually I wrote it like they were not very intelligent people who are making those comments, seeing as how everybody is in a vehicle who is down there doing that, and the fact that as an American, they're allowed to peacefully protest. They
absolutely
were coming at me about that, but I'm like, yeah, you can peacefully protest, and they're in their cars. So what part of that means they're contaminating other people? I don't see it. Sorry.
I seen exactly what you're talking about. How people say, "Oh, look, they're really, they're smart. They're wearing masks in their cars," and so that just goes to show that everybody doesn't, think that it's a joke. But just like you said, they have a right to protest, just like everybody else has a right to protest, and their opinion is their opinion. Your opinion, your opinion. You already know how I'm going with this. I'm glad that you are well. And I think what I'm going to do is call you up in a couple days and check in and piss off your old man. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, can I ask another question of you, Destiny? I don't want to keep you too long. I saw part of that live video you did. That took a lot of courage, and thank you so much, because we're all in the dark on this. So the more you can share with us, the more people share with us about what it's really about. I was only half joking that here you were with the coronavirus. Everyone immediately associates that you have a ventilator and you're in deep jeopardy, but you did it all at home and you managed much of your own care, correct? Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just checking in, them saying, and at first they didn't even give me the cough pills or anything. So it was like just kind of day by day, judging what's going on. And it really does feel like you're at home, you're alone, and that's where the rubber meets the road of the grit inside yourself of, okay, I'm going on with this, and I know what I need to do to get to my end goal, which is beating it. So,
good.
And it's at home. So.
You show the courage. Your faith is part of it. But my question is, you said you work with several people or a number of people who are in a high-risk area. Given that it was Good Friday, you came down with it. Have they been tested, or have we passed a period that they would feel they weren't exposed?
So yeah, I was out of the office ways before.
Oh, okay,
that.
good.
As soon as my asthmatic symptoms started coming up,
right,
was when I, because the cough goes with the inability to breathe. So they spoke with my boss. I started wearing a mask. Well, as soon as this came out, I started wearing a mask just because I didn't want to feel like I was putting anybody at risk with anything at all, where it wasn't going to fall on me. So then I worked with my boss and said, okay, I can work from home because I've got higher risk people who actually have to be in the office on certain programs. The programs I use, I could be at home using.
Right. Well, that's good, because you caring for the well-being of your coworkers and employees, etc. That's commendable, and that's kind of along the lines when you hear Brett talking about getting us back to normal. Is responsible behavior like that is to be commended. But
exactly. If everybody thought like that, Peter, that's me and you've talked about this many times. Unfortunately, people don't use their brains and stay away when they're sick, or go out when they're sick. You understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, with this virus, though, the incubation period is still up in the air. No one has firmly determined a period for it, so we don't know how long we're infectious before we show symptoms. So that's tough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my 2 cents in on that is that, and I don't ever want to sound like I'm cutting down healthcare anyone, but it's so up in the air, like you said, that I was getting mixed information throughout the entire time because it's changing on a regular basis. So it's not like they can nail it down and say, so if people are walking around saying, well, you need to do this and you got to do that, healthcare doesn't even know exactly what we should be doing. So for other people to be demanding healthy people not to do this and not to do that and stay away from me if you're this because I'm going to get sick. Well, stay in your freaking house if you're afraid you're going to get sick. Quarantine yourself if you feel like you're going to get sick, and let healthy people who are not having issues be out there. So
that's why I like Destiny.
There is a lot of misinformation going around. Like, people don't know what to really believe anymore because it changes all the time.
Right. That's Noelle. That's
Hi.
our other sidekick. So listen, Destiny, I appreciate again, that you let us call you and talk about this, because I didn't know anybody that has the coronavirus. I didn't know. Now it makes me, not that I didn't believe it, but I believe that it was going around. I believe that I had it in. Well, must have been, a week after surgery, I think, after I had my neck surgery. Go figure, I think I caught this fucking virus. Oh, my God, I literally thought about going to the hospital. That's how sick I was. And, I'm a man's man. I'm not going to go to the fucking hospital. Yeah. But I had 104-degree temperature. Sweat was just ripping off me. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't cough. I couldn't do nothing. I was like, oh, my God, something's going on. Then I started hallucinating. But the next morning I woke up, okay, I felt a little better. And then I had a doctor's appointment. So, I was like, with my neck doctor. Let me go to the neck doctor. He's like, we told you if you have a cold to come in here, so they gave me some antibiotics, and, it kind of, I don't know if it cleared itself up or if it worked out, but it seemed like it lingered 3 weeks, 3 weeks, my throat hurt, that's why I could identify with when they were saying, okay, you're going to have a little fuzzy feeling in your throat, and, thank God the fever was gone. That's why I was asking if you were hallucinating, because I know, oh my gosh, it drove me crazy.
Yeah. Well, having where your brain is not thinking right is not cool. That's pretty scary.
Nope. I'm with you. Good.
Absolutely.
So, how are you feeling now? Just to reiterate, for those people, we keep getting people jumping in and off. This is Destiny, a friend of ours. She's fighting the coronavirus. As we speak, she has it. How long has it been?
It's been, since diagnosis. It was. When they gave me the results was a week ago today, but I was tested on Good Friday, so a week ago Friday.
Okay, and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better than what I had been feeling, although, I'm kind of tired now, but for the most part, I feel a lot better than what I had been.
Do you think, if somebody, if I was, how can I ask this question? Is this something, Destiny, that you thought you were going to lose your life?
There were a couple of times that I thought, is this it? Like during a couple of my coughing fits, and then when I told you that I had felt like I was punched in the stomach and lost all my air, and I needed my rescue inhaler and all that, and thought I was going to black out. But I, was able to get myself regrouped. And like I said, I think fear is something that's played a huge part in that. That's why I feel like I did pretty well with it, being on my own with it and being attacked by some people, because of being able to say, no, I'm not buying into the the fear stuff that, it's a one-way ticket to death. I'm not buying into that, and I'm focusing on getting myself better. So,
you know what, and I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but the thing that you say, and have said in different ways is using your brain and getting through this. Mystic, what do you got?
Well, I was just going to ask if, and Destiny, you sound like you're coughing a little more. We should let you go pretty quickly, I think. Let you stop talking. Would that help?
The more I talk, the more it makes me cough.
Well, I was just this is yes or no. Has anyone from the health department contacted you to ask about the severity of symptoms and the things you've gone through?
From the health department, no, they did not. And they were the ones who called me, though, and gave me the initial information. Now, I can tell you this, that when I was originally told that I could not get tested, like before I was actually tested,
right?
I was told by my doctor's office I could not get tested because Erie County was not testing anybody but first responders and certain healthcare workers. And I asked why and how, because my boss was asking me these questions. So they said, call the health department. So I called them and asked them, and they said, and I said, well, this is what my doctor's office said. And the health department, the people who answered there said, well, if that's what your doctor's office said, then it's probably true. I'm like, well, do you think maybe you could find out for sure for me, since you guys are the Erie County Health Department? And he put me on hold for a while, and then he came back and he goes, I'm sorry, I'm just the one answering questions. My supervisor said, yeah, if that's what your doctor's office is saying, it's probably right. Well, then it was not long after, that I wound up being able to be tested, which I don't know what switched, but I had been telling my boss they're refusing to test. They won't do testing. And then I said, I don't know. Now they're testing. So, and they have a drive-up testing site. So.
See, and people need to hear that stuff, Dusty. I'm so glad that I've seen your live video. I am, I'm glad I've seen that. Okay, I got another question, and you probably don't know the answer, but I'm sure you can find out now that you've had it. Someone was asking us, can Destiny catch it again now?
Okay, yeah, that I will ask about, and that's something that's come up because people have mentioned, oh, I heard you can catch it again. And then my boyfriend actually said he saw Dr. Oz say it's because the strands are mutating, and that's why, just like when you get, which I would never get the flu vaccination or a vaccination for this, but said that's why even people who get that, there's so many different strands, it only protects you against certain ones. So I really hope not. Or
okay, so you will ask if you can catch it again, or they're probably going to tell you they don't know, but at least you will have a definite answer for us.
Yeah, yep, and I will ask that for sure and see at least what my doctors are saying, but like with everything else, I'm sure it's up in the air and all changing information.
Well, Destiny, that's why I asked the question about were you contacted by any health officials? The only way they're going to determine, A, whether you can catch this again, how long antibodies will protect you, etc., is by monitoring patients who've had it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
this.
so anxious to do press conferences and everything else.
Yep.
Get your
Hurry
workers
up,
out
look
there
at me.
and do some shoe leather epidemiology and figure out what this disease's track is, because you just went through the unknown, and that's the worst part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you had to be scared. It's normal not to be scared. Jesus Christ, listen, can I call you in a couple days and check up on the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, good. And between now and then, well, I'm going to ask you every question anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I believe that you, of all people, will tell us the truth. It's not something you have no reason to lie about anything.
Right. No. So it is what it is.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
Always a pleasure. You know that.
Thank you, Destiny, very much.
Talking to you guys.
Yes.
And thanks for story.
Yep, no problem. I hope you get better really quick, hon.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, my compatriots, we're going to take a very quick break here for from message from the Democratic Party, and we're going to come back with our final words.
Beautiful.
This has been a message from the local Democratic Party.
You know I love it.
Yes. Wow, courage galore with Destiny, and she was really. You could tell this took a lot out of her just to talk to us. So I really appreciate it.
I think we'll talk to her again in a couple days. And those that were listening to this, maybe some people got some help out of this, or again, now I know someone who actually legitimately was diagnosed with the coronavirus. And she talked about the test, how they stick the probe up and I got because everybody called me a liar when I said no, they stick that fucker in your like 6 inches in your nose and try to touch your brain. And you heard Ricky say the same thing. But what
I want
really
to see him do it to you.
Listen, what really gets me
Ain't nothing in there.
Is that they were telling her she couldn't be tested, Peter.
I know. And your doctor should be they should not ever dismiss what a doctor says.
Nope. I don't get it. And like you said, why is nobody following up on this, asking her all the questions we're asking? Right. Why?
Yeah.
Well, you know that I have a friend who's been studying it in Canada and works on it firsthand for the Canadian government. And that's the big thing right now is they're waiting for information on behavioral patterns of this disease. What is it doing? Like, some people, they're going to get it and they're going to have symptoms right away. Other people are going to get it, go through the whole thing and have nothing at all. And they want to know what causes that. It's going to take them time. But right now they should be determining, if you talk to everyone who's had it, what's the average time? Incubation, you don't know when exposure was, but it just bothers me that we have so much hype and media hype and government hype about the whole fear factor, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that much sensibly to address the actual disease itself.
What's the word we used? Grandstanding.
Grandstanding, yes.
Yep.
It bothers me that they want to share more of the bad news than the good news.
All the time. Listen why. You know why. And Mystic, you talk about it. Because good news doesn't sell.
Right.
Good news doesn't sell. It really doesn't. Everybody loves misery. Misery loves company, and the media definitely loves controversy.
Right. Then turns people into assholes and fighting and saying who's right, who's wrong.
I live for this shit, so
I love it. I do. I love it.
No, you're absolutely right, Noel. And each of us represents a different generation. Brett's the really old. He's the middle. Yeah. I'm the older, and of course you're the young generation. And none of us have any answers. None of us have been through this. We all have to admit individually, this is the first person we've talked with who's had it. We've talked to a nurse who's been treating it.
Hang on, did you see what Rick just said? He said she never said she had the shits. So what's up with all the toilet paper being gone? Destiny, if you're still listening, make sure, can you comment on here and let us know, do you have the shits, Destiny?
That was ridiculous.
That's funny. And Ed, I asked your question, so hopefully in a couple of days she'll do her best. You heard, if they're telling her she couldn't get tested, obviously, they're going to be evasive on this. And I don't think that, anybody is more educated on this whole thing. Who do we listen to? Do we listen to a team that's
the Madman and the Mystic?
A team that's never treated a coronavirus patient, or I have a problem with that. I want to know. If there's so many people with the coronavirus, why don't they have more answers for us? Why don't they?
Because it's like when chemical warfare was introduced in the First World War. The medics and the doctors had no idea what to do to treat it. When new diseases come out, doctors really don't know. They hit and miss. They treat symptoms. They don't know if there's correlated symptoms. And the difficulty is that you have to learn from the people who have this thing. And that's why it concerns me. I certainly hope she's the exception, not the norm. I'd hate to think all these public health officials are doing nothing but trying to scare us into staying home.
Peter, now you wonder why I get in so many arguments, because that's what, that's
well,
how,
I know why you get in arguments.
Well, that's exactly the way, I've been leaning that way. It's fear. I tell you this all the time. Fear is a great motivator. It makes you do things you normally wouldn't do.
Exactly. Well, anybody else got any thoughts for tonight? Rick says that Brett's got all the answers. Just ask him. Yeah, right.
Yep, I'm the smartest man I know.
Well, your circle of friends just got real small. Anybody else? Okay. Bill Kennedy makes a good point. Might be the last point of the evening, because we didn't take it seriously until we actually hit us. I know, because I put up a post one time back when it was first breaking from that very friend I talked about, and take it seriously because they don't know enough about it.
Look, it's not that I'm not taking it seriously. You know
not
that,
you.
Peter. Right,
I'm talking about
right.
other people who just kind of said it a lot. They were taking that one quote that was attributed to the president where, maybe it'll, we all say the same
Right.
thing. Maybe it will be gone.
Right.
Maybe it'll go
Right.
away with weather or something. I think at the time he didn't have as much information at all as he needed, but we are operating blind with this.
Yep. Bill Kennedy, thanks for always chiming in, brother. You're, I appreciate it. At least you're paying attention to us. And what else? For me not to go around my dad, that means I'm kind of taking this a little bit seriously. I just am not buying it all, brother.
Nope. And Tony Pasquale, he says, here's a little lighthearted thing for us. Tony's adding in that I miss smuggling firecrackers from Canada in my underwear, crossing the Rainbow Bridge in the 70s. And we all thought you had chronic flatulence.
Oh, funny. Yeah, funny.
All right. So what do you say, gang? We say farewell to everybody?
Deuces.
Bye.
Deuces from Noel, our intern. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks
We'll
for
be
having
back.
me.
When did we say we want to be back?
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, you guys, sound good? Everybody's cool with that? So we'll be looking for you guys all to listen Wednesday. We'll talk to Destiny again, and we'll have some more fun shit for you guys to check out.
You got it. So thanks again for tuning into The Edge of the Fall. Signing off. Thanks.
Later.